Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So let's begin with the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Before starting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto the Nar Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and unto the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdev, the author. Nastra prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shoke bhaktir bhavati naistaki. By regular attendance in the class of the Bhagavatam, all the troubles from to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is established as individual. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Darkness of my eyes with the touch of light, I offer respectful obeisances unto him. When? Okay. Let's begin. Okay. Oh. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, dear devotees. For the opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam and serving all of you. So I would request all of you to please pray for me so that I can speak the right words in the right mood, which will purify our heart. And that's the mood of this chapter also. Right? So with your blessing, let's begin the discussion on this chapter. So I think we are going to read from 43 onwards, 43 to 49. So let's read one by one. We can take turns and read that.
Text 43. Free of clouds and filled with clearly visible stars, the autumn sky shone brilliantly, just like the spiritual consciousness of one who has directly experienced the purport of the Vedic scriptures.
The full moon shone in the sky, surrounded by the stars. Just as Sri Krishna, the Lord of the Yadu dynasty, shone brilliantly on the earth, surrounded by all the birds' nests.
Except for the gopis whose hearts had been stolen by Krishna, the people could forget their suffering by embracing the wind coming from the flower-filled forest. This wind was neither hot nor cold.
Text 46. At the entrance of the autumn season, all the cow, doe, women and female birds became fertile and were followed by respective males in the search of sexual enjoyment. Just as activities performed for the service of the Supreme Lord are automatically followed by all beneficial results.
Autumn correction. When the autumn sun rose, all the lotus flowers blossomed happily, except the night-moving coon. Just as the everywhere else except the thieves.
In all the towns and villages, people held great festivals, performing the Vedic fire sacrifice for honoring and thus testing the first grain of new harvest. Along with similar celebrations that followed local custom and tradition. Thus the earth, rich with newly grown grain and spatially purified by the presence of Krishna and Balram, shone beautifully as an expansion of the Supreme Lord.
The merchants, sages, kings, and brahmachari students, kept in by the rain, were at last free to go out and attain their desired objects, just as those who achieve perfection in this life can, when the proper time comes, leave the material body and attain their respective forms.
Jai. Thank you very much. Let's bring verse 49 because that's the verse that we are going to discuss today. But we'll also set the context of the whole chapter so we understand why this chapter is appearing and between of the Leela. So we brought that? Okay. We can repeat after me. Vanin muni nribasnata nirgamyarthan prapedire Varsharuddha yatha siddha Swapindan kala agate. So I'll read the purport. So purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada ji says, Srila Prabhupada comments, this is a purport by the dear disciples of Srila Prabhupada ji, but they are commenting based on what Srila Prabhupada ji wrote in a Krishna book. Because Krishna book was finished by Srila Prabhupada ji before he departed. And in this Bhagavatam, he finished the 13th chapter. Right? He couldn't complete more, but his dear disciples continue to do the translation and purport. So it is done by them, but they are also bringing the context of what Srila Prabhupada ji said in the Krishna book from their writing it here. So therefore they are saying, Srila Prabhupada comments, in Vrindavan, the autumn season was very beautiful. Then, because of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna and Balram, the mercantile community, the royal order, and the great sages were free to move to achieve their desired benedictions. Similarly, the transcendentalist, when freed from the engagement of the material body, also achieved the desired goal. During the rainy season, the mercantile community cannot move from one place to another and so do not get their desired profit. Nor can the royal order go from one place to another to collect taxes from the people. As for saintly persons who must travel to preach transcendental knowledge, they also are restrained by the rainy season. But during the autumn, all of them leave their confines. In the case of transcendentalist, be he a gnani, a yogi, or a devotee, because of the material body, he cannot actually enjoy spiritual achievement. But as soon as he gives up the body, or after death, the gnani merges into the spiritual effulgence of the Supreme Lord. The yogi transfers himself to the various higher planets, and the devotee goes to the planet of the Supreme Lord, Golok Vrindavan, or the Vaikunthas, and thus enjoys his eternal spiritual life. So this is the end of the chapter and the end of the purport. So now let's discuss this beautiful chapter and verse, right? So question may arise that so many leelas are going on, right? And suddenly Sukadeva Goswami brings the weather of Vrindavan. Why is it so? Like, what is the significance of weather coming in this in between? So we need to also understand this context, because earlier leelas are happening. He swallowed the forest fire, and what is the next coming? Venugit, right? So we need to understand why he's switching gears and why he's bringing this. And that will set the mood of understanding this whole chapter. And as we can see, that all the seasons, as we read this chapter, because you've already gone through so many verses already before this class, is that all the seasons also serve Krishna. They serve the Krishna, right? And not just seasons, but we can see the mountains, the rivers, the trees, the animals, everybody serves Krishna. They all align to mood of Krishna. They all align to mood of Krishna. And that's one of the very beautiful understanding that we will get from this chapter as we proceed further. Now, in this last verse, what it says, after confinement, restrictions in a particular time, because earlier times when the rain happens, that's why it is called Chaturmas, where all the sages, they will stay in one place, they will not travel. Nowadays that is no longer a restriction. You can travel regarding of what is the weather condition outside. Everybody can travel, right? But earlier it was not like that. Few hundred years ago, they will have to stay in one place when this happens. So Sukadeva Goswami is giving examples of 4 different types of people and connecting with the spiritualist, that how we can understand this, okay? Because we can say, oh, they were constrained, but what is there? Now I can travel, so how does it matter to me, right? So we need to go and understand a little deeper meaning of what Sukadeva Goswami is trying to tell us. So basically, this verse gives a very rich comparison between those 4 communities, that is merchant, the kings, the sages and the brahmacharis, and a soul which is encaged into this body, right? And that comparison is given, and how one can free, like the merchant and everybody else. After the autumn season arrives, they immediately start moving around. They become free from the confinement. Similarly, soul is also confined into this body, right? And because of these bodily conditions, the soul is not able to go out. Soul is confined because we have desires. We have so many desires which are unfulfilled, which keep manifesting every now and then. And then we get stuck into this body ever, birth after birth. So he is giving us a guidance that how one can free from these bodily concept of our life, right? So our material embodiment is like a rainy season. Like in rainy season, what happens? A lot of water comes on the road. We cannot travel. We cannot see road. I'm talking about earlier days. Now we can see, but earlier days it was like that. If some of you have experienced this village or rural places in India, you would be able to understand this very easily, right? So when the body is also confined in this, soul is also confined in this body, it experiences this immobility. It is not able to move and go back to our spiritual abode, where we belong to, but we are here in this world, right? So suddenly this chapter has come because it is preparing for an external setting. Like, Maharaj does a lot of dramas, and before the drama is done, you set up so many things, right? The stage is set, the light is done, the music, the sound, everything is being set up. Why? It is all external. External things are done, so that, when the audience is watching, they say, oh, wow, this is how they get the feeling. Similarly, here also, all the season is moving from rainy to autumn, right? All the seasons are being set, means it is setting the external stage for Krishna's loving pastime, more intimate pastime which are going to come in the future, right? If you start from chapter 20 onwards, 21 onwards, they are going to Venu Gate, and so many pastimes will come, Rasa Leela and all that, which are very intimate pastime, difficult to comprehend and understand without understanding this chapter, or even without understanding the whole Krishna's Leela. So here, what is happening is that Krishna is, Sukadeva Goswami is setting the scene for us to enter into those Leela, at least hear about them and understand in the right mood. Second thing is happening is that our internal consciousness of the listener also needs to be prepared. Like many times, people start reading the Ras Leela straight away, and they get so confused, right? Even the speaker of Bhagavatam, sometimes they start talking about these pastimes without really understanding this. And those listeners get very confused because they have not understood Krishna in full. They have not understood. And therefore this confusion arises. But here Sukadeva Goswami is trying to clear the sky, like what happens in autumn season, sky is clear of the cloud, right? The sun is shining brightly and everything is beautiful. So our consciousness can also become like beautiful, like an autumn season. How it can happen? Let's go into this. So in the earlier things that Sukadeva Goswami speaks about is that he says that the water becomes clear again. So when the rain falls, what happens? Water is very muddy because the water is constantly falling. Water is muddy. We cannot see anything in the water. But as soon as the season goes, the rainy season goes, what happens? The same water becomes very pure. You can see your reflection. You can see at the bottom of the water what's there. Similarly, our consciousness is also confined. It is also get muddy with all the desires that we have, right? All the desires that we want to fulfill. We want to enjoy our senses. So this is like a muddy water. But if we give them rest, if we go on the path of bhakti, which gives us stability, then the clarity comes. Consciousness become pure. So it's not that we need to remove the mud from this. No, we have to become still. We have to become steady in our bhakti. We have to become very steady in our bhakti. Then all this stormy thing that is happening around us will go away. Right? So that's what is happening here. Now, second thing happens is that here it is mentioned that all the 4 different types of people are ruling, they are living, right? What are those? Mercantile means Brahmana, Vaishya, Brahmachari, Vaishya, Shudra, and the leaders. So there's 4 types of people, they get freed. But here it means that bhakti can free anybody. Bhakti can free anybody. It is not confined to one particular, only Brahmanas or sages will get liberated. No. Anybody who takes to the path of bhakti can get liberation. Anyone. Anyone. Right? So it is not limited for particular type of ashram, that only those will be relieved from the troubles. Anybody who takes to the path of bhakti will be relieved from the troubles of the birth and death. Now, what does it mean? Does it mean that bhakti erases responsibility? No. Bhakti does not erase our responsibility. That means mercantile has to do his duty. The king has to do his duty. Sages have to do that duty. Everybody has to do that duty. Duty must be performed. We don't get escapism from the duties. But it removes the internal contamination that we have, right, to perform our duty. And this contamination itself makes us miserable. The contamination that we carry is making our life miserable, right? And that's what this chapter tells, that when the cloud goes, water becomes clear, still we can see everything clear. So consciousness becomes clear. Further he says that cloud becomes beautiful by emptying themselves, right? In earlier thing we saw that when the rain cloud falls, they pour so much water. When you see the rain cloud, they are like a dark, right? Dark black, bluish black color. And when they give away everything that they have, that is what they have water. They give away everything. After that, what happens? They become very beautiful, white, very shiny. In the sun, if you see those clouds, they look so beautiful. So similarly, we have so much desires. We have so many things that we have accumulated. But if we give out all these things, like give away the desires, we give out whatever we have, right? Possessions and all those stuff. Then whatever, we become light like those clouds. And we also become very pure like those clouds which are there. So if we want to progress in our path of bhakti, this chapter gives a path how we can move towards that path, right? So, yeah. So, when the cloud is carrying, it is very dark, it is very heavy. But as soon as it gives away water, it becomes very light. Similarly, we have so much burden. We all carry so much burden from past life, from this life, from desires, right? All these things are coming in our life. That means that if we give away, right, we have so many things from others also, like expectation. We expect so much. I should get respect. I should get this lot to speak. I should get this lot to sing. All these things are coming in. Like the Gaur Purnima is coming. So everybody have desires. I will do this. I will do this. It's a very big festival in the temple, right? So the desire comes in. So this is like heaviness that we carry in our heart. But if we give away that, whatever happens, let it happen. In fact, I was listening to one of the podcasts. One Mataji was responding that when do you see Krishna's hand? Have you ever seen Krishna's hand in your life? And she says, always see the Krishna's hand in my life. This means that we have to see that anything that is happening in our life we have to see that it is happening for me. It is not happening to me. It is happening for me, so I need to learn from that. Right? Sometimes we are very enthusiastic to do certain seva, and suddenly, immediately at the last moment, the seva goes away. Somebody else is doing it. And we say, why me? No. What is Krishna teaching me through this? That's what our whole perspective will change when we think like that. Our question has to change to get the right answer. You know. So we have to renounce all these things. We have to renounce this. Yes.
When this season comes, as you mentioned that when we are in the human form, it's like we are confined.
Confined.
In the actual form, we cannot serve. The way when the rainy season comes, everything kind of stops. Business class person cannot do his business. So what should we do? Should we not do our I mean, in the spiritual world we were serving Krishna, but right now we are in the human body. Should we not serve? Or this rainy season is to balance the ecosystem. It's the necessity of material world. But getting a human form, is it a necessity of a living entity?
Yeah, so getting a human form is necessary to go back to Godhead. In animal form, you cannot. Only in this life, we can do bhakti, and we'll cover that.
Any form, like any form in this material world,
Yeah.
is kind of necessity for a living entity.
So, necessity is because we wanted to enjoy ourselves away from Krishna. That's why we are here. Now, if you want to go back, we cannot go back in any form of animals or any other form other than human, because only in human form we can do bhakti, right? So we'll cover that. It will come in a moment as we speak. That how can we get out of this? Because that's the whole thing. Should we continue to serve? Yes, we should continue to serve. We have faults. Yes, we will have faults. We are not pure, right? But does it mean that I should stop doing and saying that, oh, I'm not pure, I'm fallen, my life is like a muddy water? No, it's like a rainy season. The rainy season goes, autumn comes. Similarly, when we have contamination in our life, in our mind, our thoughts, our heart, then we have to do bhakti. It's like, the bhakti will come as a natural progression. It is not that, okay, like autumn came after rainy season. It is a natural progression. So similarly, our progress in bhakti is also very natural. That means we serve with humble attitude, we hear attentively, we chant with a lot of absorption. When we do all these things, our natural progression is that we become pure, like an autumn season. So that's a metaphor Sukadeva Goswami is using here, that how the Vrindavan becomes, the atmosphere becomes so beautiful after rainy season as an autumn comes. And that's what we need to try to move from rainy season, like a contaminated consciousness, to a pure consciousness. And that is where when the sages or when the king and the mercantile start moving, a pure soul also start moving towards Krishna. It doesn't mean we have to stop doing what we are doing. We have to continue doing that, because that will purify. Chanting will purify, hearing will purify, serving with humble attitude will purify. So we have to keep doing that. There is no restrictions on that. Yeah. So we'll talk about that also in a moment. Similarly, in other verses, they talked about farmers who are preserving the water, and it is compared with the yogis who control the senses. Right? In the rice paddy, if anybody has seen rice paddy fields and all that, they all have, when the rainy season goes, they have the boundaries which are a little higher, so that water in the paddy field stays and the rice crop can grow. Right? Basically, it's like our senses. We have to restrain. Like Prabhupada also gives an example in one of his purport where he talks about like a tortoise. Right? Whenever a tortoise sees a danger, immediately he brings all his limbs inside his covering. That means it's protected. That means as soon as we see some picture, we hear something, we immediately we need to restrain ourselves. Immediately. We cannot wait. In fact, today only I was listening to one class in the morning, and Prabhuji was mentioning that if we see something which is not in line with our bhakti, our life, Krishna consciousness, if you see something, you hear something, we don't know how long that will haunt us. It can haunt us not just in this life, it can haunt us in the next life also. Even after that, we don't know. It is so abominable. And that is what he was explaining the pastime of Yayati Maharaj, the Vyani and Yayati Maharaj and all that. It was beautiful explanation that we should immediately restrain our senses. Immediately. Like, our Guru Maharaj says that what to do if there is a temptation? Temptation will come in this world. We cannot avoid it. Right? We are going away and we see nice dress. We see pass by restaurant, a smell comes and say, I want to eat this. Immediately this temptation comes. What to do? The solution is we should not become brave that I will go in front of temptation and still save myself. No. We are not pure like Srila Prabhupada. We don't have to go in front of temptation. If somebody is diabetic, they don't have to go to candy store or a sweet shop. Then I will control my. No, you cannot control. We all have seen in our life, I'm sure most of you have experienced this, that I want to control and we give it in. Because we are still on the path of progress. We are not perfect. We are trying to be a devotee. We call we are devotee, but we are trying to be a devotee. Actually, we are devotee in a making. And therefore, we don't have to worry that, oh, should I give it up? No, we don't have to. We have to keep doing our bhakti very clearly. Right? And this is where, the example of a farmer where he engages the field is that we have to ask questions like, where is my hearing going? Where is my chanting going? Where is my seva going? Am I doing it in the right way, right mood that Srila Prabhupada ji told us to do? These questions should be asked ourselves. We don't have to see faults in that. We apply this to others. Oh, how is he chanting? Oh, he's walking and chanting. He's dozing off when he's chanting. We think about all these things. We have to introspect on ourselves. Right? So that's what these farmers are teaching us here. Then in autumn, the sky becomes very cloudless. Right? There are no clouds there. Even if they're very small and just few, and then they're very beautiful. They look very white, not like things, right? So sky becomes very visible with the stars. In the night, if you see, you can see the stars, right? And similarly, when the mind is covered with passion and ignorance that we have, usually that's what most of the people are living in this world with those mode, right? We cannot see properly. We cannot see properly means we cannot see the Krishna consciousness path very clearly. We'll still have doubts. We will not be steady in our sadhana. We'll be ignorant about the way we behave. Why? Because we are still living in passion and ignorance. We have to rise above this. And it's a practice. It is not going to come overnight. It's a practice. We all need to do that. Right? And Prabhupada gives very easy remedy for that. We have to hear attentively. We have to hear every day, we have to hear. Every day. And we have to chant very attentively, very sincerely, in a very submissive mood, that I want to please Krishna. I want to please Krishna. Right? So, if you see that our conscience is always pure, but it is contaminated. Like, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives in Shikshashram, Cheto Darpan Marjanam. The mirror is reflective. But what is there? There is a dust. So we don't have to change the mirror. We have to remove the dust. As soon as we remove the dust, we can see ourselves very clearly. Similarly, in our consciousness also, we have to remove the dust, contamination that we have. How can we do that? By chanting, by hearing, constantly. This is the very foundation. Excuse me. And when we hear this, we keep saying that why is being emphasized so much, that chanting, hearing and all that. I'm already doing it. But then we have to say that what is the result of what I'm doing today? Am I getting hankering for chanting more rounds? As soon as I finish my chanting, do I feel like, okay, done for the day, now next day? Or I'm saying, oh, why it finished so soon? Let me do more. Or when I have a free time, let me chant more. Am I getting the laulium? Am I getting the hankering to chant more? That is what defines how our chanting is. If our chanting is mechanical because we have committed 16 rounds, we are doing one after another, yes, beat goes down and we finish and we are done, we feel relieved actually. As soon as we hang the bead bag, we feel, okay. And second question that reminds me, Jai Shri Radha tells me all the time that you just finish your round and why are you so behaving like this? So we have to be very, understand, if you have chanted and we are very happy, we will be very blissful, isn't it? But most of the time what happens, I'm talking myself, okay, agitated with something, small thing changes and all that, externally. That means my chanting was not very attentive. It's a clear immediate indication is here. And maybe Krishna is showing that to me that you are not chanting well because see, I am bringing you in this situation, you finish your round and you are agitated. You are very far from me. Please chant nicely. Krishna is telling me that do this. Krishna is telling all of us. That's what we have to remember. Anything that happens in our life, what is Krishna trying to teach me? And then we'll find the essence in that. We will not do fault finding. Because one of the impediment in our bhakti is fault finding, like aparad, we do that, right? And we should definitely not try to do that. We should just say, what is Krishna trying to teach me? Now, Sukdev Goswami, gives very deeper meaning on this, that just as these souls, like merchant, the king, the brahmacharis, and the sages, he gives an example of those they start moving after the autumn season comes. Right? He says, like devotees, like sages, they also start moving towards goal. What is the goal? To serve Krishna. That is our goal, is serve Krishna. Of course, there are different practitioners, they have a different goal. Some have a goal of merging into effulgence. Some have goals of going to spiritual abode. They don't know which abode, but they want to go. Some wants to get mystic power by doing bhakti. But as a Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhaktas, our goal is to go back to Vaikuntha, go back to Goloka and serve Krishna. We want to serve Krishna and not direct service. I want to serve the servant of the servant of servant of Krishna. Like a Manjari Bhav or a Kinkari Bhav. Kinkari Bhav is very low in the seva. We can serve Manjaris and Manjaris will serve the Sakhis and Sakhis will serve Radharani and Radharani will serve Krishna. So we have to be like very bottom of that. Like we say in Tulsi Ati, Sakhi Anugata Karo. We say in Tulsi Ati every day. We have to imbibe those singing that we are doing. Acharya has given such beautiful songs. We read also meaning. Every day we read the meaning. We sing every day. But are we able to get that bhav in our dealings with others, in our behavior? That is the most important. Is it transforming our life? We read, we chant, every day we do all these activities. But is it becoming like a mechanical? That, okay, I'm coming for Mangala Aarti, I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm waking up at 3 o'clock, at 7 o'clock I'm finishing. So I'm spending like 4 hours spiritually. How much absorption is there in those 4 hours? Right? So that's what Sukdev Goswami is trying to tell, that the cloud, how it becomes clear by giving up the burden. We should also give up the burdens of recognition, of getting a fame, or getting a prominent spot. All the desires to be fulfilled. We can have desires of service. We can have more desire to serve. Like festival is coming, there will be a lot of seva, right? The day before and on the day and the day after also, because cleaning and all those things, there's so much service will be there. How much we are enthusiastic to perform those seva, or I only want to do certain prominent seva. What is our mood? That will define how and when we will reach to Krishna. Everybody is on the path of Krishna. There is no comparison. Everybody is walking on their own path. But how speedily we will go will define. And as Krishna says, that only through bhakti we can understand Krishna. Right? In 18th chapter it says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Right? Only through bhakti we can understand Krishna. We cannot understand Krishna otherwise. It's not possible. And in the same Bhagavad Gita he says, Janma karma cha me divyam. Only if we understand the Krishna's transcendental birth and pastimes, we can go back to Krishna. So to do this, what we need to do? We need to hear, we need to chant, and that's how we can go back, right? So this verse is not only teaching about the change of the season, but it is teaching us that how we can become perfect in our practice that we are doing. How we can attain the ultimate goal that we have in our life. Ultimate goal is go back to Krishna, or go back or serve Krishna, wherever Krishna keeps us. If Krishna keeps us in material world to serve, I am happy to do that. We are not hankering only to go back and serve Krishna in Golok. No, we are also happy. If Krishna gives us service in this world, I am happy to do the seva. My hankering is not just serve Krishna only in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. I can serve anywhere, wherever Krishna keeps me. So that should be our mood. Otherwise, what happens? We move from one place to another, and our bhakti becomes disturbed, right? If you are in Canada, now we go back to India for some reason, then we are not able to do the same sadhana. Same intensity is not there. It changes. Or somebody comes from India to Canada, becomes very cold. So again, that's an impact. The external condition should not impact our spiritual practice. That is a steady progress. That is what Sukadeva Goswami is teaching us in that. As the season moves, we should become purer and clearer in our mind, in our consciousness. Right? So that's what it is mentioned. Now, Srila Prabhupada compares, few comparisons he is giving. Like for example, in this whole chapter, it talks about the muddy water. Muddy water is like our contaminated consciousness. Muddy water is compared with the contaminated consciousness. Then he compares the clear water which comes in autumn is a purified consciousness. So we all can get this. We don't have to confine to muddy water. We can all become the purified, which is a pure consciousness. Then he talks about restraint flaws of the farmers, right? Which is like controlling our senses. This is very important as a sadhaka, that if we are not controlling senses, then we are extending them, trying to fulfill their desire. It's like putting ghee in that fire, sacrifice, right? When Nityananda Prabhu does fire sacrifice, he'll put ghee and it will keep burning more and more. It doesn't go off. Similarly, if we try to satisfy our senses, it will just increase demand with more and more. I want to do this, I want to do this. It is never ending. Till the fag end of our life, we will be fighting to control our senses. It is not possible. It's very difficult to control senses. The only way to control senses is to dovetail into the service of Krishna. Therefore the yogis who want to control the senses, like Ashtanga yogis and all, they control so much. But eventually they give in. Like we have example of Saubhari Muni. Thousands of years he was doing tapasya underwater in Yamuna. Just by seeing two fishes coming together, he got attracted, I want to get married. So what's the point in doing those kind of tapasya? That is not helping. Instead, we should learn from the life of Jad Bharat. Like Jad Bharat, when he got the birth as the Jad Bharat, he was able to remember what I have done in past by Krishna's mercy. That I was a king, I had so much things. Then he also came to know, I was attached to a deer, so I became a deer. Now I got a birth in a Brahman family. So though he had so much knowledge, he never revealed to others. He never showed that I know so much. He never did that. Right? So similarly, we may have a lot of knowledge, talent and all that, but unless we are asked, we don't have to show it to others. Normally today's condition is that people want to show more. Externally they all look like a devotee, but internally there are so many disturbances going on. Externally we can put tilak, we can wear nice kurta, dhoti, kanthi mala, have nice bead bag, everything is going well, looks like an amazing devotee. But we have to ask ourselves, what is going on inside, within me? Is it like that muddy water? Or my consciousness becoming clear like an autumn season? That should be our questions. Then Prabhupada says clear sky is compared with the awakened spiritual understanding. Many times we hear so much, we hear classes of our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ji, and many prominent speakers, but we don't get anything in our mind. Two reasons. One, attention is not there. We are distracted. And second, that our consciousness is not yet ready to receive that knowledge. See, Bhagavatam reveals depending on our level of consciousness. Initially, when all of us read, and all of you will probably be able to confirm this, that when I read first time Bhagavatam, I did not understand. It's so difficult. And what is it being told? But as we repeatedly hear and read, then slowly we start understanding. We hear the classes of our Guru Maharaj. When they speak on the same topic, they're like, wow, what a beautiful point. Why? Because they have a deeper understanding. And they themselves tells that what they are speaking today and what they spoke 10 years ago, there is a huge difference. Because they've been repeatedly hearing, speaking, listening, same thing, and the consciousness has become more and more clearer. That means they go deeper into the subject. It is the same verse, it is the same purport, but we go deeper. And the Krishna reveals, the Bhagavatam reveals more as we become more mature to receive that. Like a child who goes to a school, you can't teach calculus and all that to a first grade student. They won't understand. They have to go through that progression, and maybe by the 12th standard they can understand what calculus is. Right? So same thing. We have to keep making progress by hearing, by attentively chanting. And then slowly this muddy water contamination that we have will go away. So that's what the Prabhupada gives, he gives this 4 things. He says, hear regularly, chant sincerely, associate with the devotees. Association, devotee association, very, very important. And serve with humility. We have to serve with humility. Many times we serve, but we still have ego. I did this seva. I should get recognition. I did not get somebody else. He did not do any seva, but he still got recognition. We immediately start that comparison. It happens with most of the devotees. Initially, when we come into bhakti, we are very humble. We are trying to understand. But as soon as we do like 2 years, and now I know everything. Nobody needs to teach me anything. And once we get initiated, then we are even, we are in cloud 9 kind of thing. So I know everything. But actually, as we go, the path becomes more and more slippery. So we have to be more careful as we advance, because then everybody is looking to us as in guidance. Okay, if a initiated devotee is like this, then should I continue in this path or I should not? Is it the right place? Am I that right? So we should exhibit. So we all can become a preacher. Preacher doesn't mean sitting in a Vyasasana and giving Bhagavatam class. That's not a preacher. That's only one aspect of it. We all are preacher through our behavior. You all go on Sankirtan, you go on meet devotees, you interact with them. How you interact will leave an impression on them. But yeah, they may not buy a book from you, but they will see, no, they are very nice people. Maybe in this life or next life they will become a devotee. So our duty is to bring more and more people into this process. Our process is not Krishna consciousness movement of Hare Krishna movement is not to sit in one place and keep doing bhajan. We are not bhajananandi, like doing bhajan in one place. No. We have to go outreach. Like, this Bhakti Academy is being run, is to bring the young people, come and understand the spiritual life. And if they feel happy, they can continue in this life. It's a very beautiful, I would say, beautiful initiative which is happening. And you are part of this, which is such an amazing. When we came first time about a year ago, we are actually very amazed, when we see youth especially taking up this process. It really encourages and feels that, wow, this is so amazing, so beautiful. Prabhupada mission is really going very well. So we all become a torch bearer of Srila Prabhupada's mission. And we have to carry that with enthusiasm. And then we can make this Srila Prabhupada very happy. So what are the inner thing that goes wrong with us? What is the inner thing? Like a rainy season, it's like a false ego, right? These are something which impediments in our bhakti. False ego, agitation, which I talked about, which I got very easily, especially with Jai Sri Radhe. So I have to work on that. I have to work on that, because I am kind of perfectionist, which is not good actually. I try to do like everything has to happen in this time and this way and all that, and then there is always a conflict. And also I love to go in the kitchen, so there's a more conflict. So there's a more conflict happens there. But maybe Krishna is trying to teach me. I'm trying to learn Hopefully someday with your blessings it will happen. Right, then excessive worldly anger, I want to go out and see myself, right? People should recognize me. Worldly, outward things. But this teaches to go inward. We have to go inside, inner. Inner purity is more important. External purity will come automatically. If you become pure inside, external purity will come automatically. But what's happening more is, externally we are trying to show off. Nice iron kurta, dhoti, kantimala, tilak, clean shave, kind of, or that here, shikha, looks perfect, right? But yes, this inner cleanliness is what is required. That's very important. That's what this is teaching us. Then, especially in the nowadays, we have endless distractions, right? Uncontrolled senses. These are very big impediment. Uncontrolled senses and constant distractions. Constant distraction. We have so many ways to get distracted. Because in a phone we have at least 10 apps which keeps giving us some notifications. And then if it is, giving some sound, then we're finished. So keep those phones away, keep that away, and then keep doing your sadhana, and that will make us progress on this. Then few points before we conclude is that, so how can we apply this in our life? Okay, Sukdev Goswami is telling this beautifully to. We have time, we can speak some more. Yeah. So Sukdev Goswami is giving us, but how can you apply this internally to our life? We have to make it practical. Because everything that we see, the question is, Prabhuji, how do we apply in our life? That's important. So, our life is some kind of get confined or get controlled because of certain things. What are those? Certain situations in our life, right? So, rainy season that Sukdev Goswami's comparison is something like confusion in our life. Could be grief, could be sense enjoyment, attitude, right? These are the impediments that we should try to control. And Prabhupada gives very beautiful remedy for all this. Constant hearing means we have to remember Krishna all the time. Whenever we get time, we have to open book and see what is there. When I think in 2008, when I got first Srimad Bhagavatam, there was a lot of glorification happened on Srimad Bhagavatam in one of the class. I was very new devotee, not even chanting, maybe chanting just one round. And Bhagavatam glorification happened. And I said, okay, I must get this Bhagavatam. So I said, Prabhuji, I want to get Bhagavatam. So he brought, after 1 week it came, and he says, can you come to the center? And I went, and it was like a big box. I said, oh wow, it's like Bhagavatam is so big, because they had only one book, they're showing. and I never understood how big Bhagavatam would be. They just spoke away, and I said, okay, I'll take Bhagavatam. They say, yeah, within 1 week it will come. So I went, and then it was like a big box, very heavy also, right? It called 15-20 kilos. So I got it. And then I don't know when to start, So I asked Prabhuji, how do we start? Well, don't worry. Just keep Bhagavatam open on your desk, where it is visible. Like when you're walking, moving, it's visible. So you can just open that and just read whatever is there. So verse, translation, what, just read it. That's it. You do it. And he says, that's all? Yeah, you start doing it. And when we start doing it, what happens? You get taste. You get more taste. Now you want to read more. You don't want to read the half purport. You say, oh, what happened next? You flip the page and you go deeper. Then you read the word. Then you say, oh, what happened in the story? You go deeper. Go further. And that's how our attraction for reading Srimad Bhagavatam increases. So we have to start very small. Very, very small, micro habits. And there is a very beautiful book which we can use, we can read and apply that in our spiritual life. The Atomic Habit, if anybody has heard about that book. It's a very beautiful book. How to cultivate the habits. And it talks about micro changes, not even, minor, micro, very small, which are extremely easy to implement. But mind is saying, it's too small, do more. And when we read one verse, mind will say, come on, you have time, read the whole chapter. But remember, we have to do this daily. Every day this should be done. So when we read it, one verse every day, then the changes will happen. If you start reading one chapter, we are not able to understand. And it will not become a daily habit. We are talking about daily repetition, daily doing the same thing. So we have to do that, right? So yeah, so distractions could be like a family pressure, your health struggle, all these things are weather conditions. These are all can confine us. And that's what Sukadeva Goswami is saying, that if we have understood that we are not this body, we are the soul, we are the eternal servant of Krishna, we are part and parcel of Krishna, this is not our ultimate home, we have to go back to Him, then we know that we have to go there and we'll continue our practice accordingly. Now, does it mean that where we are, we should, like, question came, right? That I am in human form, is it like I have to continue to do this, should I stop doing this sadhana or should I do it, what should I do? Confusion comes in our mind. So Prabhupada ji has given the remedy that continue chanting. Regardless of our quality of chanting, we have to keep chanting. In the prayerful mode, that I am not able to, I am distracted, I feel sleepy, I have no taste. All these are very valid reasons. I experience all of that. But if we pray that, okay, Krishna, I'm not getting this, but help me, I want to try sincerely, then Krishna can help us. So continue chanting. We don't have to give it up. Many times devotees say, I've been chanting for 10 years, I'm not getting any taste, I'm not getting anything, and they just give it up. No, we don't have to give it up. The heart is contaminated from millions of births that we have taken. Now that we have got human birth, now that we have got association of devotee, now you are this mantra, now we are able to chant. We have such an amazing process that Prabhupada ji gave. So we should continue to do that. Then continue to hear. We have to hear from our Guru Maharaj, we have to hear from Srila Prabhupada ji, we have to hear from other great Vaishnavas about Srimad Bhagavatam. Because we just read the words in the beginning, right? Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Nityam, every day. Nityam bhagavata sevaya. So we have to keep doing that very regularly. Then the contamination will go away. Then our attention should be protected. Where is our attention going? When I am reading, am I also checking mobile? When I am hearing, am I also talking? See, when we hear, we will, if we are distracted, we will not receive anything from that hearing. Our time will get completely wasted. Then we think that I am hearing every day for half an hour, nothing is changing. Then we have to see what I am doing those 30 minutes. Am I only hearing or am I also doing something else? Like, in YouTube you can hear, but you can also do something else behind. Because you think you are hearing, mind tells, no, you are hearing, you can check messages come, you can respond to the urgent messages come, you must respond. And then we don't get anything from that hearing. So our attention should be protected. Then saintly association is very important, that we have a devotee association. And wait with the faith. We have to wait, think, okay, that process will work. It will clean our heart someday. I just have to become more sincere. And then it can happen. Then our heart will become like an autumn season, where Krishna can come and decide. Nobody wants to live in a dirty place, right? Would you want to live in a dirty place? Nobody. Everybody wants a nice, clean place. So why we are keeping our heart so dirty? That Krishna is still there. He's saying, you tell me, I will clean it up, but we are not ready. So, yeah. So we should pray to Krishna that let this muddy water, muddy heart that we have become clear by hearing, by chanting, and may I become pure. So that's what Sukadeva Goswami is telling, that how this autumn season is preparing our consciousness for hearing the beautiful pastimes which are coming up. It is for welcoming Krishna in our heart. It is welcoming Krishna in our heart, right? So that's what Krishna, Srila Prabhupada's disciple have translated and put the purport here very beautifully. Yes, so we will one day can go back as this verse says that when the proper time comes, leave the material body and attain their respective forms. So our form is already confirmed. Which form we have in spiritual world? We don't know that. We don't know that. But as we continue to do spiritual progress, we will know. Like Aindra Prabhu, he knew what is his seva. He knew what is his seva in Golok Vrindavan. And when he was, before departure, he went to Loi Bazaar and bought the book of, how to make hair and all those stuff. And people are, what are you doing? Why this, grooming hair and all that book you're buying? Then he told this confidential devotee that this is my eternal seva in Golok Vrindavan. So his seva was revealed to him. But we will also get that revelation someday. Some of you may have got revelation, I don't know. But for me it will take more births. Okay, so we'll pause here and see if take some questions if anybody has. Hare Krishna. Yes, Sakai Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the last talk. I have a question. So, how not to judge or get discouraged? You mentioned a point that when you see some senior devotees and also mentioned when you see initiated devotees, they're not doing certain things right, or you like, I want to head in that direction. I want to be that person one day, but they are not doing it right. So how not to judge it and how not to get discouraged? Because I was very discouraged seeing. That's why initiation is like very long process for me, because I've seen this is happening. Like, wait a minute, like I don't have any faith in initiation. I was like, I have to get strong. Initiation will just be there. Because I've seen devotees after initiation, before initiation, say. So how to not judge? Maybe I'm judging that they're saying, or how to not get discouraged. If they're like that, you will not be like that.
Yeah. No, this is a very good question. So everybody got the question, right? Right? So yeah. And this happens with most of the devotees as they come into practice. So first of all, judging is like finding faults, right? He's not doing this right. Oh, he was supposed to, but he did not take Achman. We immediately find faults. He should have done it. Yes, we can see that, but we don't have to elaborate, make it clear to everybody else also. When we see somebody is making mistake, then we should say that I should avoid doing that. Instead of saying that, oh, he is not doing it right, we should say, okay, maybe I should not do that. So when we see a devotee who is being exemplary, we should say, okay, I want to become like this. I want to behave like this. And when we see a devotee who is not in the line or is not doing certain things perfectly, we should say, I want to avoid this. So we are learning from both. We are not criticizing anyone, but we are absorbing good things for our own individual progress. So not to get discouraged, because we have so many good examples, right? We don't have to become a housefly to go and sit on garbage. We have to become a honeybee, which captures the honey from beautiful flowers. So that means that when we see a good devotees, we are saying, okay, there's still a hope. There are good devotees exist, so there is a hope, right? We should never lose hope. Hope is the only thing that keeps us alive. If you want to kill a person, just take the hope away. They'll die automatically. We have hope, right? That tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll chant, I'll become more stronger in my sadhana. We have a hope. With that hope, we continue. So we must have the faith in the process, that this process will purify. And we have to hope that I will be able to do that. So when we see a good example, we see good examples also. We don't have to look at only the bad example, because devotees are both the types. Not so great, who are wonderfully amazing, exemplary devotees, we can learn from them. So look at these ways. No fault finding. And especially when we see something, don't say to others. We don't know to amplify. We have a tendency of telling others immediately. Today morning he was doing and he did not do this. Immediately we start talking to each other. That should be completely avoided. It's like a gossip. If you want to make a progress in our spiritual life, the gossip should be banned in our life. We should not be doing gossips. We should find good qualities about others. Let's say somebody comes from Mangalarti but doesn't know what to do. Or maybe he's coming regularly but still making some mistakes. What is a good thing in that person? Coming daily. At least he's coming. I'm not going to wake up. Someday he will get blessing. So at least that good part is there. He may be doing some faults. If he's not paying obeisances correctly, he should pay from left side, right side. All this will come. But someday we'll learn. We don't have to correct anyone. We are not in a position. I talk on myself. I don't correct anyone because I'm not in a position. We don't have to do that. Correction should be done only by the parents, teachers, gurus who can, or well-wisher. If we are really a well-wisher of that person, then we can do that. Otherwise, we should not, because by doing that, we might discourage that person. So, look at the good things that devotees have. Don't amplify the not so good qualities in them, especially talking to others, right? Talking about them, that's not correct. And never lose hope, because there are good devotees. And this path is perfect, and this path is very pure. So we can definitely walk in this path like an autumn season. The road becomes clear, consciousness becomes pure, and we can attain our destination very easily. So that way we can. I hope this is helpful. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. First of all, thank you so much for the class today. I really enjoyed it and it was very helpful to me. So before knowing Krishna consciousness, the theory that I believed was that we are souls, obviously, and we don't die. And we belong to a place that is very beautiful, is made with love and light. Now, I did also believe that we voluntarily made a contract with Source to come down to this planet and do some sort of thing that is our responsibility or our promise to God. So let's say, for example, if Srila Prabhupada didn't visit us, we wouldn't have ISKCON and having all of these youth gathering and getting to know Krishna.
Right.
So my question is that that's the theory that I want to understand if I'm right. And the second thing is there's no question that where Krishna is the best existence ever, no question. But how would we be there and choose our own senses at the first place? And how can we make sure that if we go back, how can we not do that mistake again? Do we know that question?
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, we came to this material world, right, by our own desires, that I want to enjoy my senses. So there are two versions. One is that we never were in Vaikuntha, one says we fell from Vaikuntha. Prabhupada talks about both, but let's say we want to enjoy ourselves because we think Krishna is only enjoyer. That's what Bhagavatam tells us, and we are supposed to serve him in his enjoyment. That's our duty. But by looking at Krishna enjoying, we also feel like I also want to enjoy. And that's why this material world was created by Krishna. Okay, you want to enjoy? Go ahead, this is your world, go and enjoy there. That's how we came here. Now, in this world, depending on our past karma, we get certain body. And then, depending on what kind of enjoyment we want to do, we will continue to do that. And that kinds of binds us in this material world. Okay? So, that's what happens when because your understanding previously that you had is perfect, right? That we are a soul. Soul never dies. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2, he talks about soul very clearly. So, soul never dies. Absolutely. And we came from a very blissful place, which is Golok Vrindavan. We somehow here in this miserable location, which is full of miseries, challenges, problems, everything is here. But still there is a little sense of some happiness is there, which is keeping us here. Some happiness, right? Now sometimes, we have lots of problem in life, but we let's say somebody is working in a company, lots of problem. Boss is not so great, but salary is okay. But there's the hope that someday I'll get promotion. In that hope, they continue to slog and work and work and work. That may or may not happen, but there is a hope. So similarly, we also have a hope that this happiness which I'm getting will become like a permanent thing, eternal, and I will continue to live here. That's what happens with most of the people in this world, especially those in the family life. That someday I'm going to get some happiness from my wife, my husband, my children, all these things, and that's why we stuck to this world. So, yeah, that is our position, our problem. So we came, and we stuck here. Now, can you say the second question that you had?
It was, how can we make sure that when we go back?
Yeah, okay, got it, thank you. Yes, so we can only go back when our consciousness become pure. Okay, that means we are not having any faults, our consciousness is clear, then only we can go back. Any kind of contamination, we cannot go back to Krishna. So that means Krishna will not bring us, because if we go there and make mistake, then it means that the Vaikuntha, which means there is no misery. Vaikuntha meaning there is no misery. Kuntha means there is a misery. Means that we will bring disturbance in that very pleasurable environment that is God.
Like we are not in that.
Yeah, so unless our consciousness becomes pure, we cannot go back. So Krishna will ensure that before He allows us to enter, we are pure.
And we don't do that mistake.
Yes, we will not be able to do that. Because there the mood is to serve Krishna through His devotees. That is our mood. So automatically that ego of I want to be the prominent, I want to be in the limelight, slowly fades away. That's what Krishna says to Arjuna also, why he is telling him. The confidential knowledge, Krishna tells Arjuna that I am telling you because you are my friend and you don't have envy. See, especially when the seva is happening, the service is happening, the most important fault that comes in our mind is envy. Oh, somebody is singing, somebody is taking this seva, I'm not doing, I'm only clapping. That's what the envy is, a very, very dangerous thing. But Krishna tells Arjuna that because you don't have envy and you are my devotee, so I am giving you this confidential knowledge. So Krishna is telling in many ways that what we should get rid of. So we should get rid of envy. We should get rid of false ego. So everything starts with false ego. The moment we have false ego, we identify ourselves with this body, and therefore all these anarthas sprout. So if we get rid of this, so if we can only go back if we are pure, and once we go there is no coming back. That means we will not have any of this fault that we are probably making here. So it won't happen there.
So we will make that mistake only once.
Yeah, now that we have realized. Absolutely, because we made once and now I came back. In fact, in Brihad Bhagavatam, there is a discussion, Sanatana Goswami talks about it, saying that when a Gopakumar comes to Golok Vrindavan, Krishna goes to welcome him. And he embraces Gopakumar and cries that I've been waiting for you for so long, where were you? Right? So Krishna is actually waiting to welcome all of us with open arms, saying, please come. But we are away from Krishna. That's what Srila Prabhupada says that, we are, to be born in India is like, very close to Krishna, because Krishna is in Vrindavan, very close. But we are away from Krishna. So Krishna is here, we are walking away from Him. While the people in the Western world, they are maybe far physically, but they are walking towards Krishna. Right? So one who walks towards Krishna is coming closer. So that's what it is. We should go towards Krishna. So yes, once we go back, no mistakes. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you very much, dear devotees.